okay. In today's video, I just wanted to basically give people an option if they don't want to go for a recluse or they don't have the team to get into comp and go in and try to get a gun that is actually very beneficial in PvE and PvP. Now, what you guys know is that Bungie has put in a new activity called the Menagerie, and with that being said, one of the weapons that came in this DLC is something called a Calus mini tool. Now, I tested this thing out. I went over a few times. I used it in endgame content. I even used it in my flawless run in the Chronosaurus raid, and I must say that this thing is pretty awesome. Some of the main perks that you want to go for are probably going to be full bore for max range. If not, hammer forge rifling is still going to help you. As you can see, you don't lose that much in range. With that being said, full bore, ricochet, or even high caliber would be a good choice here with dynamic sway and feed and frenzy. If not possible, the best thing that you can go for at least will be between the barrel and feed and frenzy. What I mean by that is this gun is very good. For me, I put on major spec and this thing shreds through everything. Last night I even went in Crucible and we tried it out. This is insane. And if you compare it to the Recluse, you can see that when it comes to range, this thing basically outbeat Recluse in the range. Alright, now you don't have the massive arms, and sadly this gun does not roll with rampage or kill clip or anything else. The best perks for damage buffs are surrounded and high impact reserves, and surrounded is very situational. I did get one with surrounded, which I kept, and it also depends on the activity that you're doing, whether there's going to be a bunch of enemies around you. And that being said, surrounded with the surrounded mod on this gun gives you a 61% buff, meaning you get to do 61% more damage. So if you end up being in Menagerie or an area that has a lot of enemies, surrounded might be the preferred choice. That with threat detector kind of work well together, because with threat detector you have increased reload stability and handling when enemies are close, but guess what, surrounded is another thing. So not only do you have reload stability and handling when enemies are close, you also have bonus damage. Now what I'm going to do here is with my clanmate Mr. Snurv, we're going to go into just a private match so I can show you the kill time in Crucible. And honestly, I was surprised, but this thing is pretty freaking insane when it comes to Crucible. I mean, I beat a guy yesterday with, he had a machine gun and I was still able to, you know, take him down pretty easily. Also, that being said, this doesn't mean that this gun is better than Recluse. This gun is a second option to Recluse, and this is for people that don't want to go get one. Honestly, this gun is fun. This gun can be used in any activity. If you like using submachine guns, if you seen your friends with Recluse and you weren't able to get it, guess what? This is the next best damn thing, you know? And I really don't know why Bungie didn't, you know, throw in Rampage or Feed and Frenzy, or have Feed and Frenzy with maybe multi-kill clip or something like that. I understand that maybe if they gave that to this gun, then Recluse wouldn't be like the same gun that it was before. But that being said, if you're looking for a weapon that can keep up, that's number two, not number one, but number two that can keep up, this would be your best thing right here. And like I said, I'll go through some clips of just showing you how good this thing actually is. Alright, I gotta go find Mr. Snurv. I don't know where he's at. He's somewhere. Mr. Snurv. There he goes. So Mr. Snurv is right here. And if I go from the hip, just shoot him. As you can see, this thing shoots really fast. The reload's insane. Let me grab my Darcy so we can kind of see what kind of range we have here. So with Darcy, we can kind of see. Let me see. I can't see my range. So that is what? 22 meters. Do I need my whole clip? At 22 meters, I can still get a full clip of damage on Mr. Snurf. The closer you are, the faster this weapon kills. Let's just say that. With dynamic sway reduction, the longer you hold the trigger down, the more that it sticks to the target. Alright? Now, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what the damage fallout is. So we can see here. Let me see. I'm going to go against this wall. And this is 27 meters. Okay, so the full clip didn't kill from 27 meters. But most of the time, if you're using an SMG, you're probably going to be really close to your target. And if I'm here, I didn't use much of my ammo. I still have 21 left. And that means that it took me 16 shots up close and personal. And the reload on this thing is pretty insane. So I could just imagine if Bungie gave this thing, you know, some kind of damage buff, you know. But great weapon, great weapon. Now, we also did a nightfall last night. The burn was not solar. This SMG was doing the same exact, and like it was just shredding through things. We went into a bunch of raids, did the same thing. Also went into heroic strikes, which are arc burn, and this SMG was just shredding through things as if there was no tomorrow. So that being said, this might be the next best thing to Recluse. I'm gonna call it Baby Recluse. As you can see, the reload on this guy is pretty fast. You can kind of shred through ads. And the reason why I brought this into the menagerie is because you'll see, even as enemies ramp up, this thing just shreds through them. Also, if we end up getting the repulse room, I can kind of show you how much damage the surrounded Calus mini tool does as well. Mind you, this thing is also a lightweight frame, so you still get that extra movement. I honestly don't feel that big of a difference between this gun and the Recluse. But that being said, I haven't played with the Recluse that many times. I used it in certain situations. And I honestly think this guy can easily keep up. I mean, the reload on this thing is superb. And I think when it comes to the world of Destiny, reload is key to killing and being able to get back your shots to kill again. We have the mockery. I mean, I should be surrounded sometimes in the mockery, right? So let's try out the surrounded Calus mini tool. I don't think Surrounded's gonna proc that much, to be honest with you. There's not that many enemies that I would even... But yeah, the gun shreds for being an energy primary weapon. Oh man, do I have surrounded? Yes, I do. But like I said, surrounded is very, very, very situational. And it's something that you're gonna have to you're gonna have to kind of play close. But a very consistent gun will be the Feed and Frenzy and the dynamic sway that I just showed. As you can see, I kill, I reload, I get to kill right again. Hello, wizard. There we are. Actually, the hunted wouldn't be too bad to try out a surrounded SMG. Also, let me switch to all. There's gonna be nice in this room, so I don't want to use my sword. Let's throw on the Wendigo. But yeah, the movement on this thing is great. The only thing that is lacking is the damage buff, and I don't think it's needed that much, especially with the time to kill on this gun. And even with major spec, you kind of get to do a little more damage to mages as well. So let's see how this next room goes. But yeah, Surround is a very undervalued perk, and if you're going into an area where you're going to be shooting a lot of enemies, I believe Surround is very well needed. Alright, here we go. I can't wait to try this out in the actual center plate. So I hope that the center plate is one of the ones that show up. Also, let me put on my Luna boots. There we are. Alrighty, what is the next play? Center is not a play yet. Here we go, well is down. Oh, I'm out of ammo. But the knight is down. And there goes more ammo. Okay, we have center. I do not have my super yet, so this is going to be very weird. Here we are. Super is down. Surrounded is not being proc currently. Or I just have too many things happening at once. So 8477. Yeah, there's no way to actually show you guys what Surrounded could be with the Surrounded mod on here. And I think that testing will be done after this run. After this run is finished, I'm going to go into an area and actually show you guys what Surrounded can do. I'm going for these orbs. Picking up these orbs, going back to Mr. Snurf. Yeah, so I didn't really get to preview much of the Surrounded perk being proc. Even though there was a lot of enemies and it probably was proc, there was too many buffs on my screen in order to actually show you guys the difference between the normal buff on the weapon or the normal damage on the weapon and the Surrounded damage with the Surrounded mod. So after this, I'm probably going to go to EDZ and actually just test that out to show you guys the difference. I tested last night. A normal shot would be 91. And when Surrounded was proc with the Surrounded mod, it became 147, which is basically a 61% boost in damage per shot. Oh my, we're in the gauntlet. Also, that being said, if you don't know about the gauntlet cheese or the straddle, the thing that people do, you basically get to the end. If you have a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher, you shoot a few shots at the finish line, and apparently that counts as guardians going through the end. So let's see about this. Did you see that? So apparently that counts as guardians going through. So if you didn't know that, boom, there you go. There's something that you learned today. In this next encounter, I would like to sword this boss, and I'm going to use a Surrounded Striker Surehand Sword. So why not also have my Surrounded mini tool? Well, would you look at that? I didn't get surrounded proc because he had no enemies around him, but that being said, for the rune itself, this is going to be one of the easiest things to get. The reason why I say that is because all you need are purple runes, right? Purple, meaning the rune of the beast, and you can put any purple. And this is the formula for getting SMG. Now, what I like to do is add range to it, but you don't need to add range to it. You can easily just do purple and purple, and you might get what you want even without trying to get what you want as a masterwork. So here we go. And the thing is, I absolutely have the best one that I can possibly get, so there's no need for me to have another. Alright? So let's say I do get something that's good again. Let's see. What do we have here? Eye of the Storm Underdog. Now that he's fan of that. Dynamic. So if you end up getting something maybe close to this, Extended, Ricochet, Dynamic, but you don't have the Feed and Frenzy, that's not bad. But you want Feed and Frenzy. You want that extra reload. You want that extra, you know, push as soon as you kill something to be able to just reload and get the, you know, the next mag full to kill the next enemy. Alright? And that is it. I will be going over to EDZ and we're going to look at the damage for surrounded on this SMG. And then if you guys like it, I mean, it's a good gun. It should be something that most people go after, in my opinion. Alright, so I'm going to test this out on a drag. Okay. So that did 147, right? Normally on a drag. Now, if I can find the same drag alone without being surrounded, I can show you the difference. For some reason, there's a captain in my face. Thank you for dying, Captain. And I'm pretty sure that the number will be drag. I just need one shot in the face. That's all. Up close and personal is 91. So as you can see, the normal damage is 91. If I'm surrounded, it is 147. That is a 61% boost. So imagine an SMG having 61% extra damage. That is actually way more than a Recluse, which is why I said it's surrounded with threat detector would actually be good in certain situations. You're able to go through and just clean up on things, which is what makes this gun really good. Now, if you were able to get a full bore with Ricochet and threat detector and surrounded, this thing would shred through a lot of enemies, especially if you're in some kind of horror mode activity or you're in activity where you have a bunch of enemies nearby. Alright, and that concludes the end of this recording. Thank you for watching the video. If you would like to share with your friends, you're more than welcome to. If you have any questions, I'm always live on Twitch basically every day. And see you guys later, dude. Know what I'm saying?